I'm a woman in my 30s. A while ago, my male coworker observed that I didn't have a boyfriend. It's a casual workplace. I let him know I date, but I never seemed to be able to date more than 3 months maximum. Out of nowhere, he said, "What do you bring to the table?" That question confused me. What am I supposed to bring to the table? Isn't dating about what your dynamic is together? Years later, I'm having a catch-up coffee with a male friend I've known for more than a decade. He asked me how my love life's been. I shrugged it off, saying I can't seem to find a real connection. This friend said, "What do you bring to the table?" Honestly, I've thought about this almost every day, but I still don't understand the question. Is this a guy thing? Sounds like something you'd ask at a business meeting. What kind of stuff am I supposed to bring to the table? Story 1. But I still don't understand the question. It's basically a question of what you are adding to the relationship and what value you are bringing or adding. It's almost a bit transactional because it's kind of similar to questions you'd get asked at a job interview. Same things like what value would you bring to this company and what are your good qualities, and do they align with company values, except replace company with this relationship. For example, are you bringing your income to the relationship? Are you bringing peace and comfort or chaos and disorder? Are you bringing physical intimacy and so on? Story 2. I'm not sure how to answer your question, so instead, I'll tell you what I think my wife brings to the table. My wife is the most genuinely nice person I have ever known. I once saw her cry because she didn't have cash to give to a homeless man, and she felt bad for him. That's how pure her heart is. It's a huge turn-on. She's gorgeous. That statement stands by itself. She doesn't think she is, and maybe that's part of what makes her so attractive to me. She loves hard. Whether it's her love for me or our kids, it's always there, and there are never any doubts. Her creativity. I'd love to have the creativity that she has in one finger. Her artistic ability is something I envy, and I get so excited when she creates something and wants to show it to me. Her sense of humor. My wife and I act like kids all the time, and I love that. We don't take much too seriously and are always goofing around with each other. That is something I never had with another woman I've been with. A lot of people, both men and women, bring more to the table than they realize, but I think the biggest thing that is often overlooked is effort. You have to put effort into relationships, even new ones. Without that effort, the chances of it being a successful relationship are almost zero. Story 3, to me, when a guy says that, it means what value you provide, whether it's from a monetary standpoint like job or career trajectory, or a care standpoint like how you treat a partner day to day and how you help them. Different guys want different things from their partners, just like women, so it all comes down to how you and a potential partner give and take from each other. When you have a good balance, things tend to go better. Story 4. It's a pretty straightforward question. Answer this question for yourself. What do I want from a partner? That's what you want them to bring to the table. If or when you start dating another guy, think about the above question from his perspective. My assumption is they are prompting you to do some introspection based on whatever you've shared about past relationships. Story 5. Yeah, like the things you look for in a partner, what are your strengths? I liked that my wife was driven, motivated, and hardworking, and had a lot of things that she believed in strongly. She always insisted on splitting the bill, and I thought that was awesome. Dating is supposed to be about what you're like together. That's correct, but when you've known someone for 2 days over text and you're awkwardly drinking coffee, there's not really an us to think about yet. Edit. This is the weirdest thing I've ever gotten hate direct messages for. Laugh out loud. Story 6. Are you gentle, caring, fun to be around, and interesting? Do you share passions and hobbies? Do you make his life easier or harder? Do you help him? Do you make plans or expect him to do everything for both of you? Do you complain a lot? When he complains, do you listen and offer support? There are lots of things to consider. The problem is some women seem to think that having sex is their only duty in a relationship. They see no issue in dumping their emotional baggage on their partner and are unwilling to give back even a fraction of what their partners do for them. Someone who is not desperate will likely avoid a woman who brings him problems, takes his peace away, and only offers sex. Imagine you are dating a guy. He expects you to take him out, get a table at a restaurant, listen to him complain through the whole dinner, And when you start talking about yourself, he shuts you down and keeps talking about his life. Then he makes you pay the bill and drive back to your house. But there he has sex with you. Is he a good person to have a relationship with? Story 7. When I got laid off, my wife called me a loser. When I reminded her that our marriage vows said we would be cheerleaders for each other, she laughed at me, kind of the opposite of what I needed. Her contribution to keeping the relationship strong? Banana bread. I don't even like banana bread. The point is you should learn what the other person values and bring that. Story 8. Based off your post history. 1. You're dating in Vancouver, a city known for being shallow and soulless, full of inequality and thus filled with either people too stressed to date and have relationships or very privileged individuals with options and short attention spans. I live in the Lower Mainland. You say in another post you're only dating very attractive guys and find regular straight guys annoying, so maybe consider reducing your standards to a more average good guy type who is likely to stick around for more than a few months because he doesn't have many options on a dating site. You're vegan, which severely narrows your options. Omnivores don't like conforming to the vegan lifestyle, and vegan cooking in restaurants can get repetitive and boring to the average person after a short time, so you're limited to dating wealthy, attractive vegan men. It might help to have more self-awareness about how you're aging and realize your chances of getting a man who meets your standards to commit are low. Story 9. It's another way of saying, why would someone want to be with you? It's definitely a part of dating becoming a sort of job interview thing, where you are only one of many candidates. There are many good and bad things about that, I guess. Story 10. What do you bring to the table is basically an objective question. What's your self-evaluation? What can you objectively offer in a potential relationship between yourself and someone else? I'll give you an example of two men and what they bring to the table. Man A, high potential white-collar job, currently earns good money but not single-income household kind of money, rents his apartment. He's not very into nature or animals, but he has a dog he treats very well. Likes to take a nice vacation every 2 or 3 years to somewhere new. Is very straightforward, looks after himself well, and treats most people well in a professional manner. Man B lives at home with his aging father who can't work anymore. Works a 9 to 5 and makes okay money. He loves animals and has a parrot and 2 ferrets. Is kind and funny. Likes dedicating his weekends to specific activities such as hiking, fishing, or building models. Does his own handiwork. Each of these men brings different things to the table. The whole concept of what do you bring to the table is essentially two humans, both objectively and subjectively, looking to see how well their potential partner aligns or complements who they are. Almost like a business deal with emotions. It's got to make sense and feel good. Story 11. Here's what my wife brought to the table when we were dating that made me think, you want to marry this one. She believes in being truthful. Sometimes to a fault, but she doesn't lie. I can trust her. She is a strong, independent woman with her own ideas. Loves with her whole self. Can hold it down in the kitchen, the bedroom, and at formal events. Her family welcomed me and treats me like one of their own. She has a sense of adventure that I love, and she lets me lead most of the time. She's easily the most beautiful woman I've had the pleasure to interact with. She smells amazing. I don't believe in pheromones, but if I did, her smell is intoxicating to me. She will 100% call me out on my nonsense. 10. She lets me have my own social life and she trusts me. 11. She is brilliant. Not just smart, but brilliant and driven. It is incredibly attractive. 12. Honestly, there's more, but I've got screaming kids and I have to go. 13. The best dates I've been on were with her. Story 12. Something. At 30, I would expect some sort of stable job or career, and then the rest is personality-based and will vary from person to person regarding what they want from you. At my age, 23, I expect at least some sort of job or schooling. I've talked to people who had neither, and it feels like they're just going to leech off me. I do have a career myself, so I think those standards are fair. Story 13. I guess there can be as many correct answers as there are men. Generally, the point of being in a relationship is that being a duo has to be better than being solo. For that, both parties ought to have qualities or wealth that match what the other desires. Sorry if this sounds a bit harsh, but if multiple people are giving you this question, even though it is rude of them, you might want to ask yourself why they don't think you are desirable automatically without having to explain what qualifies you to be one. Maybe they are wrong, or maybe you lack some qualities. If they are right, then improve upon that, not just for your future partner, but for yourself. Once you have an interesting life, passions, motivations, goals, and aspirations, you will qualify as automatically desirable in most people's books. Story 14. Here's my list, but it applies to both genders. 1. Do not treat your partner like garbage. Do not even think of treating your partner like garbage. Your partner is not a place for you to dump your issues. You can talk about them in a healthy manner and work to resolve them, but do not dump your issues on them and then not resolve them. Try to be happy together. Always be happy for your partner if they do well in life. Never be jealous of them. Always give your partner space. Except for things out of your control, do not do something that might hinder your partner's ambitions. I do not mean you drop your own ambitions. I mean, do not put them down by telling them they cannot do it, or do not take them to a basketball game the night before an important interview. Always be there for your partner. Always love your partner. Do not make them feel like you do not love them. Story 15. That's a question I often hear directed towards women with very high and unrealistic standards, such as good looks, immense wealth, and somehow having the time to take care of her every need, while the woman has no qualities that match that level. Not a model in looks, no good job, selfish personality. You're right that dating should be about a good dynamic. It should be about contributing equally to each other, picking up the slack when the other person struggles, love, mutual respect, and generally treating each other right. However, in today's dating world, there's a great deal of pickiness for looks and status, and a lot of men are preemptively reacting to encountering this mindset. Another way to interpret it is that these people are asking you about your good qualities and how you can improve yourself to really shine and attract someone. I think it can be a slippery slope for one's mindset, though. Polish your good aspects, inspect your bad ones, rather than completely change yourself into the desired standard. Story 16. From a 59-year-old man married for 30 years. Many women believe their education and employment history matter to men. For most, those attributes don't crack the top 10. This is a general idea for men. Not all are the same, but from all the happily married men I know, including myself, the following is common. This is directed towards what a man is looking for. Looks and body are what get our attention. Keeping a partner interested is about femininity, fidelity, being supportive, kindness, and little to no drama. Never underestimate how much men want peace in their lives. If your family or friends are drama queens, that's a big point of contention. Respect, conversation, humor, affection, and a nice friend circle. A lot of men are turned off by the friends you associate with. Just like many women don't like the guy friend who is a bar-hopping womanizer, many men don't like the girlfriends who are always clubbing and partying. Making time for them, showing you're interested. Initiate by asking them to dinner or planning an outing they would find interesting. There's more to it for a long-term relationship, but that's the gist of it. What positive attributes do you bring to their lives? Story 17. People are going to downvote me to hell for this because it is in 2024 and you cannot say this, but if you like to cook, that is going to be a huge plus for 99% of men. Story 18. This isn't just a guy thing. It's become the new dating norm. Basically, everyone wants to know what benefits to their life you will bring. While most women expect men to still be traditional, the majority of Western women refuse to be traditional. So, quite basically, what do you offer in a relationship besides sex? Do you bring peace and tranquility and aren't full of conflict? Or do you bring constant conflict, entitlement, demands, or nagging? After reviewing your post history, I wouldn't date you. With all the humans are just parasites talk, I wouldn't see you as a positive force or addition to my life. If this is the subject matter or anything similar you are sharing, they just aren't seeing you as a dating option but more of a detrimental influence if they risk staying long-term. You are going to need to date a very specific type of guy to match that energy. Story 19. It seems you are perhaps more concerned with why they asked you this rather than focusing on the literal interpretation of it. You want to know the unsaid meaning. The literal meaning is easy. I would say it requires no explanation even. Everyone should be aware of what positive qualities they have after some thought. The hidden unsaid meaning, however, can be more difficult to understand here. Did they ask you this because they think you have unrealistic expectations in men versus what you actually bring? Could be. You may need to analyze these conversations. Like, what did you say to them before they asked you that question? And be prepared to look objectively and honestly at yourself to find the answer. Story 20. I have to jump on here and brag about my wife too. We are 8 years apart in age, me being the older one. If I could have made a list of things I felt were important, she punched that ticket. We have had a wonderful, fulfilling life raising 2 daughters we are very proud of. Built 2 ranches. Seen our parents pass, and many other life experiences. Through it all, she has been a superstar and the family rock. Her compassion for animals is unbelievable. As ranchers, things can get downright heartbreaking and tough at times, but through it all, she is the rock. I thank the universe every day for this gal I've been married to for 35 years.